Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Farm Progress 2024 continues. Thank you all for joining us here again at the ADM main stage. We're going to have a good panel discussion about assessing your options as a grower when it comes to what you put in the ground each year. We're going to do this panel with our friends from Farmers Independent Research of Seed Technology. I'm going to introduce the panel, then we'll get things going. Kevin Cooey, you're the founder of Farmers Independent Research of Seed Technology. Thank you so much. We've got Jason Byers. Jason is the research manager on the team. Nick Hoffman is a research manager also for First. Eric Swanson is a farmer, also has spent 25 years hosting First Plots, which we'll get into in just a bit. And then Jesse Bolero is a First manager as well for the programs. Thank you all for joining us here on stage.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
Let's jump into it. Kevin, I want to start with you first. What brought it into existence? Why was it founded? How did it get its start? Give us the background.
Well, to answer that question, I'll try to keep this short, believe it or not. And by the way, if you're hot, because there's no breeze here, there is about 50 feet that way. So if you want to catch some fresh wind, there you go. If you dial back or flip back the calendar about 30 years, you'd be in the early 1990s. And that's about when the program got started. And it got started largely because back then the seed corn industry had consolidated from thousands of companies that began in the 30s to about 400. And these companies were serviced largely by foundation seed companies, Brayton's up south of Ames, Holden's over there in Williamsburg, Downing's in Ohio, several others. And of course, there were still large seed companies that had their own proprietary research programs like Pioneer and DeKalb. I began work for Asgrow as a concept farm manager. The concept farm was a brainchild of Dr. John Schillinger. And the idea was to showcase what was up and coming, and that was GMO, genetically modified corn. At first, it was Roundup Ready in soybeans in about 93. And in 98, corn kind of came along too. The thought was, after leaving my employment there, not by my choice, but it wasn't something I argued about, I began working directly with farmers in order to evaluate how well these GMO, these Roundup Ready and later corn borer resistant, and then finally rootworm resistant products were working compared to the non-GMO or the conventional products. To do that, the farmers would harvest the plot with me, their combine. I'd go clockwise around and they'd dump into my weigh bucket, and then I'd empty it into their truck. And the whole process was about 6 hours. And that went on for a couple of years until the farmers looked at it and said, you know, I'm interested, I want to know, but you've got 60 hybrids out here and you planted them 3 times each and it's just taking too much of my time. It was about then 98 where it became really obvious that these technologies were going to be adopted by farmers. They were very successful. The competition wasn't between GMO versus non-GMO, it was between which are the best GMO. And the whole subject of how to integrate a gene that conditions for a certain trait that you're looking for into high-yielding, competitive, modern germplasm is an interesting story. And I can't get into it, I don't have the time. But what I really wanted to do more than anything was to showcase which products were working for farmers on their farms and use that information to consult or maybe even put together something of a buying pool of hybrids that I knew were really good. Instead, what happened was other people from other states, and in Jason's case, just to the north of me, said, hey, I can do what you're doing up here. And that was true in Iowa, and it was true in Indiana and Wisconsin, and pretty soon the program just started going national. And so my business became just kind of helping shepherd the program as a whole and not even doing the field work over time. But the short answer is there was a very real need back many years ago, and there still is today, but even more so then, to really see what it is that modern seed corn and soybean products could do.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So 30 years you've been working.
Yeah, I've been working 30 years at it. Yep.
Wow. All right. And now you're here, Farm Progress Show.
Yep.
Jason, I want to throw this one to you. Is this your first time for First at the Farm Progress Show?
Actually, I attended Decatur last year and worked the booth, so we've never had anything this nice, getting up here on stage and visiting with you guys, but we appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you coming, but why is First here? Why did First want to come to the Farm Progress Show?
We're trying to promote our name more and help the farmers understand what we've got available on our website and how they can use that as a tool to help purchase their seed products and stuff like that. And we also want to acknowledge our seed sponsorships and let them know that we're out here trying to sell their stuff as well. And if we do the research right, that just naturally comes along.
All right, so let's talk about this. Jesse, let's grab you. You're on the end of the line there for the data, for the information that First is compiling. Can you talk a little bit about how that gets to the growers? I mean, what does that avenue look like?
Right. Well, for many years, we've published really nicely organized reports that they've been available on our website for many years, and we've sort of modernized some of those technologies, and we've put together a database such that we can actually offer per product results. So we read all of the literature. We also are following many kinds of trials, and we've heard over and over that you want to see multi-year, multi-location results for different products. So we've put that kind of information together into a results page so that you can look at a hybrid that you're considering or a portfolio of a brand's products that you're considering and see with a ranking, how have they done across all of their trials, all of the years they've been in our tests. So we really added a lot of new tools to do that, new tools to look at things like what your practices are in your field. What do you want to see? You want to compare how products have done in things like your conservation tillage practices. Maybe you have a lower fertility program. Maybe you're a high management farmer. We've put all of those kind of filters into our tools so that you can go and see what the head-to-head looks like for what you're considering purchasing with your practices.
And how does that make First different from other independent seed advisories? What is it that sets you guys apart, Jesse?
What really sets us apart is we're a broad program. We've been in 15 states. We do the same protocol for testing, randomized replicated tests across all of those states, same procedures, same kind of randomization, meaning you're getting really high quality research, but the same research, and you actually get to multiply your information. If you're interested in the plot that's right by your farm in Boone, Iowa, we've actually maybe done many tests in that sort of maturity range, and you can get a lot more information from the information you can get from First, because we've also tested in Illinois, we've also tested in South Dakota. So our program is a broad program. It's got a big footprint, and that's really what's different.
That makes sense. So you've got reliable data from all these different sources that you can coordinate and collaborate amongst each other.
Yes.
Okay, Eric, I want to ask you from a farmer's perspective here. Why? What's drawn you to the data from First?
Well, for us when we started, I mean, it's just we get such a broad, they come in 60, 70 different hybrids. I mean, we can see all that in one easy to read spot. I mean,
it's just all right there.
Yeah,
it's ease of access.
Yeah, I mean, we get it ready for these guys. They come, they plan it. Really, all we have to do is take care of it throughout the season. Do whatever we want to do. I guess we tell them what we do.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's walk us through the process. For somebody who's maybe never put in a plot before, what's it like working with First? What does your farm look like in springtime when you're getting all these things ready?
Jason will come out March, April, and we'll decide where we want to put the plot.
And do you plant a corn and bean plot?
We have a corn and a soybean plot.
Okay.
And then they'll come and they'll where do you want to put it this year? And we'll talk about it and we'll put it there and he'll stake it. And then when time's right and everything's fit, we'll get it ready and then tell them it's ready to go. And then hopefully they'll have the seed ready and we'll just get it planted as soon as that happens.
That's what it's all about. And then it grows.
Yeah.
Harvest comes. Do you handle the harvesting? Does First
No,
come?
First will come. They'll harvest it. Corn's not such a, to me, a hard one to harvest. The beans is kind of a challenge once in a while to get those fit to go. But they come harvest it, they weigh it, and then, what I like is we get all the results, not just the top 30, which I guess is what you publish. But we'll get to see from top to bottom.
See everything.
Yeah, we'll get to see the whole 70-some hybrids or whatever's in that plot.
It's incredible. Jason, when you're thinking about putting these trials in, when you're working with the farmers, what are some of the constraints that you have to work through or work around to make this be successful and hit your protocol so that everything's uniform?
Oh, we got all kinds of challenges throughout the year, Mike. We start off with the main thing is the technologies, and as they're changing through the seed companies, as a testing facility, we have to get together every once in a while and try to facilitate our trials to adopt the new technologies and how we're going to handle them and what the protocol is going to be. And then it breaks down to, like with the farmers, if the herbicides are changing, and let's take Roundup Ready Flex and extend Enlist beans. If we're going to put those in, say, Eric's farm, we need a Roundup or Liberty type post-application platform. So we got to work with the farmers to make sure that that happens so we can test both technologies in the same scenario. Some of the other challenges are getting the seed from winter production from the seed companies. This stuff that's grown down in South America sometimes is not getting in our hands until 24 to 48 hours before we're planting.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of time consuming to get everything ready. We actually start packaging this little seed packets and getting everything ready for the planters probably in about February and work all the way up to planting. So I always figure that's about 33 of my percent of my time is getting ready to plant before we even go to the field.
Okay.
And the last thing that is always a challenge, and it is for every farmer, is Mother Nature. And I've learned over the years, there's one thing you can't control, and that's her.
That's so true. That's so true. Nick, now you're not getting off this stage without a question or two from me. So we're going to throw this one at you. Looking at how this year has gone and what's ahead for 2025, what's new? Anything changing at first or anything you're excited about in this next growing season?
Yeah, there's a lot of very exciting things happening in the first program. For one, we've added a new territory in the western Kansas area. So that gives the farmers in that region and the seedsmen an opportunity to see products in a region that we've never tested before. We're always looking to expand into other regions as well. But for 2024, there will be results from the new Western Kansas region for the first time. Some of the other new exciting things that we've done, we've developed new and better online tools to help farmers understand and process the data. Our product results finder is a very powerful tool. It gives you an idea of how a product performed in multiple locations. So if you're ranking in the top 30th percentile consistently across multiple locations, it's easy for the farmer to find and see that and be confident that that's a product that's worth growing.
That makes sense. You mentioned the Western Kansas region that has just been brought online. As you look to expand other regions, do you have to find plot growers first and then you can start to grow out a region? Is that where things begin, is with the testers on the ground?
Absolutely. And I think there will always be a healthy demand from the seed companies to want to test in other regions. So it's a matter of forming relationships with farmers who would like to test and do this type of work on their ground. And I think to them, it's a very beneficial. It's kind of a win-win for everybody, really.
Absolutely. Eric, let's talk a little bit more about how this data and the numbers from FIRST are a value to you as a farmer. What sort of information do you want to see from an independent advisor like FIRST? What is it that you want to see coming out that you can trust?
Well, what we really like is they put the summer reports together. So like, we're called Winnebago. Within our region, there's 8 or 10. I mean, they sort all those hybrids out. You can get them on the summer report, and there's multi-year data in there. I mean, so you can find the hybrids that that seem to work in your area and down to your farm the best.
Can I ask you, from a farmer's perspective, how many of your plots start out as plots, research is done, and then they turn into broadacre, applications on your farm? Are you seeing your plot practice work their way into your bigger acre practice?
Oh, for sure. Because I mean, it's much easier to try a new one in those strips and on your acres, or than to try an 80 or try a whole farm of corn. You got a pretty good idea. If it's done well in the plots, you're pretty rest assured, in your area, it's going to work for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jesse, let me ask you this. When you're thinking about these plots and you're identifying farmers like Eric who can manage and put them in, what do you like to see? What are the requirements for the farmers that you work with on the research side?
I think this is one of the really unique things about our program, is that it is on-farm research. So we actually are going to do what the farmers are doing. And I recall a time I was visiting with Jason at his farmer meeting. Eric was there, And one of the guys said, well, I'm going to follow it. I'm going to follow it with the cover crop. I'm going to follow the cover crop's going to be in first. Is that okay, Jason? He's like, yeah, you do whatever you're going to do. And he said, I think I'm going to go like 0 nitrogen or something. I forget. He was joking, but he said, maybe not that. So really the requirement is that they're cooperative. It's amazing to be able to work with fellows like this, and they are giving their time. They're giving they're actually giving a lot of information. I mean, I've looked at a lot of research, and it's hard to get farmers to give you all of their nitrogen program, their tillage, all of these things. And these guys are generous enough to fill in all this information. If you look at our reports, it's actually a lot of details about what has gone on that plot. And so the requirement is someone generous enough to give their time, to be able to be timely with planting, timely with harvest, have a grain cart out there to collect the grain, because the farm gets to keep the grain. So really that's all it takes. This is on-farm research. It's not meant to be like really specific.
It's not lab coats out there counting every kernel running through the furrows. It's Eric doing the work that then gets fed into the science and out to the people.
That's right.
That's incredible. What are you guys looking at as you get into 2024? And I'll just kind of open this to anyone. Anybody can raise their hand and jump in on it. What's the most exciting thing from First's perspective as you look out to 2025? What's changing in the markets, or what's an opportunity you're excited about?
I'll answer and might hand this off, but one of the things I'm excited about is standing up here. Nick is a new manager to our program. So, Kevin, who's behind me, has just shepherded a great number of guys. We've had 14, 15, a number of people who have managed this research. And he's trained them up, and he's fostered this community. And it's time for some people to move on. And so it's just wonderful that people are interested in the research. And we've got several new people who are taking on the research, which is exciting. It's always great to see the new traits that are coming on board. We have several new corn traits that we're testing this year. And all of those things give us this opportunity to put tools in front of farmers, which is all free. This is all free to farmers. We're not here at Farm Progress Show selling anything, which is unusual.
It is.
It is available for free, and we just look forward to putting more of those in their hands.
Are all of you folks volunteers? I mean, Eric is volunteering his time and talents on the farm.
We're not. I mean, First is sponsored by seed companies. That's who pays to enter the trials, right? So seed companies, when we so appreciate their business, which is to market their products with objective data. That's amazing. They're still entering our tests in order to market their products with objective data that you can come back to our website and see as a third party. And so we're grateful for their business. They have to pay a fee to be in the trials, but they have no control over what happens. It's unbiased testing. It's third-party testing. And so those funds pay for their work in the field, maybe pays for a nice shirt for Eric once in a while.
All right.
And pays for my work to help manage the data and get it out to the farmers.
Gotcha. Let's talk about getting that data out to the farmers. Nick, let's start with you. I've really not hit you very hard this afternoon. So let's go there. How can farmers find the information that you guys are creating at First?
Yeah. So Jesse here does an amazing job managing the data, and the managers in the field, we almost in real time, as we're typing in the results from our weigh scales, are being stored in the cloud. And as soon as we finish that field, that data is being processed within 5 hours. And Jesse will go through, clean up the data if there's any outliers or problems. And then that data is typically published within 24 hours from the time that we harvested it. Then the regional summaries will come towards the end of harvest, which is typically in October, later on in October. And at that point, farmers have a really good idea of what went on in their regions, and gives them a great idea as early as October going into the next growing season of what products did well. So
you've got the information as the farmer in hand early enough to capitalize on some of those seed discounts if you want. The research is there, and you can it's actionable.
Yes,
you can move on it.
Absolutely.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, folks, let's talk about where do we get it? What's the website? Is that the best place to go and get it? Where else can this information be found? Jesse?
They're giving it back to me because I make the website is firstseedtests.com, firstseedtests.com. And we make all of our reports available there. Thankfully, we have some publishing partners like Iowa Spokesman that you will see those reports in the paper, particularly in Iowa. We've got wonderful partners in Iowa who publish the reports so that you can pick up your paper and look at it. But if you want it the day after, the best thing to do is to go to forseedtests.com. You can actually download the app from the website so that you can have it a little bit even easier to look at that actionable data. What's the latest report? What just came in? Who won that one? So we've made those tools a little bit easier, so you can just click the latest every day, see what got published there.
Firstseedtests.com.
That's right.
Before we let you go, Kevin, you've been standing back there, you've been listening. Look out to the future. You've been 30 years in this program, working on these projects. What do you want to see 30 years from now? What would you like to see?
I'd like to see Jesus in heaven 30 years from now. We're in the process and have been for the last year or two, moving me out as the person running the company to more of a employee-operated business. And that's been a process that's gone actually very well. And I love to see that. If you were to ask me one thing to look for in the future, it would be machine learning and AI giving a very good answer to an extraordinarily complicated question. And that has everything to do with, I'm a farmer over here, and this is how I farm. And so what shall I do when I go to buy my seed? And it's just too powerful of a tool to ignore, and it is the future. I think in time we're going to see that some AI is more successful than others, and it's largely going to be based on the quality of the data that goes into it. But if farmers are sitting there thinking, yeah, well, you do testing, but it ain't on my farm, I'd have two things to say. One is what goes around comes around, and two is that if you're going to find the best product on your farm, it's going to be among the best products that work on several farms. So look for that broad adaptability. Look for even ourselves who are unbiased and so can't interpret and recommend something objective like an AI program can do that for us, and without any problem with consideration to bias.
But AI is not there today yet.
Nope, but that's the future.
That's the future. That's what's coming. Folks, first, Farmers Independent Research of Seed Technologies. Thank you guys for joining us up here on the main stage. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you, Jason. Great to meet you, Kevin.
Thank you, Mike.
Great to meet you, Nick. Eric.
Thank you.
Jesse. I'm glad that went smooth.